our celebration of women in property. The ladies have gone back into the room for the next round of talks, but I'm now joined by Marie. And Marie, you actually wear two hats in property, really, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I work as an accountant, and one of the areas I focus on is mainly property investors and landlords, and I'm also a property investor as well.
Must be handy to have both sides of the coin, really.
Yes, it is, because obviously, I mean, I've been a property investor for about 15 years, so. And I've been through already the previous recessions, so I've seen how that actually can impact on property investors. So that level of experience is very useful when I'm advising clients.
We always say on Property Tribes that a good tax advisor and accountant is an absolutely vital part of an investor's power team, because you can really help people be very efficient, maximise their profits and so on.
Yes, it is obviously important. It's quite important to have a power team around you when you're actually starting a property investment journey. And it's both the accounting side of it, but it's also external people as well who, from the point of view of coming to something like this, for example, female property oriented type networking, that that you're on the same journey as everyone else, and all of these things do help in having a more successful outcome.
They do.
As opposed to doing it on your own.
Yes. There's no need to work in isolation in this day and age with events like this and online platforms and so on. So if we turn back the clock 15 years ago, what first attracted you to property, and what did you sort of want as the outcome from getting involved in it?
Well, when I initially started out, it was very much a case of, I think it was at the start of the last property booms. So at that time, property prices were actually very low. I used to live in Huddersfield, and at that time, the property prices there were quite low. So we were surprised by how cheap property was there. So it was from the point of view by providing additional financial security on a long-term basis. So I still have that property that I first started out with, so it provides cash flow every month, and it's always there, and it's in addition to having, for people who may be starting out with a day job or anything like that, it's something they can actually do on top of that.
Indeed, and I think that's one of the things that's great for women who perhaps are involved in childcare. They can work around that, can't they?
Yes, and that's one of the reasons, obviously, why female property investor networks are actually very popular. That doesn't it can appeal to a lot of women, if they're aware of what's actually out there, and that they can actually become successful property investors by going down the female networking route.
Definitely. And what sort of qualities do you think that women bring to property? Because perhaps we bring a different perspective, and sometimes it can be quite a male-dominated area, and that actually might put some women off coming into the field. But I think it's good for us to see how many women here today are making a success of it.
I think it's correct. I mean, there is an aspect of it, yes, that it can be quite male-dominated, but it's not like they're a separate species or anything like that. So, it's not. I don't think there's any particular barriers or anything like that from the point of view of women getting involved in property investments. So
no, there isn't.
It's a question. That. Sometimes maybe property doesn't work out and it doesn't go well, and it just has to be dealt with, and it doesn't really matter if it's a male or a female at the end of the day.
Exactly. And just to finish, really, do you sort of have any sort of top tips that you've learnt on your property journey that you'd like to share with us?
I think initially when people start out, when they're first considering purchasing property and going down the property investor route, that the first thing they actually do is purchase a property that will actually yield a good profit, hopefully on a long-term basis. I've seen a lot of people buy at the top of property booms, and it doesn't matter how well the property does. It's very difficult to make the property work if you buy, for example, at the wrong time, the wrong property. And also your personal circumstances as well.
So really what you're saying is to become a good, a sort of brilliant researcher and a good at doing due diligence, because that is absolutely key to making the right choices of what you're actually going to buy, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct. If you get that aspect of it wrong, the rest of it just doesn't flow.
You're absolutely right. Okay, well, thank you ever so much for talking to us. Great to have you on Property Tribes. Thank you.